Okay. Hey guys. So excited to be here. I arrived to IDP from Bulgaria in 2001 to go to IDP, and IDP literally changed my life, like I'm sure for 99% of you. I met my husband here. I met, all the people that, are a big part of my life right now, professional, personal, all that stuff. And last year, when Red Burns passed away, I was all the way in Bulgaria, so I couldn't come to the memorial service. But I started obsessively watching every video that was published about her, every article that was written about her. And what struck me is how much she talked about the importance of diversity. And it's this one being one of the founding principles of ITP, diversity not only in terms of gender, but also in terms of culture, and also in terms of disciplines, right? That's why all of us were pulled in from all kinds of different disciplines to work on problems together. And right around the same time, I was about 7 years of being CTO at Basel, which is an online organizing nonprofit. It was an amazing ride of my life where I got to build a tech team from scratch, and the company was distributed all over the world, and so my team was located on 6 continents, and like I don't even know how many countries, really everywhere around the world. And I also have 3 kids under the age of 8. So I basically took my job at Avaz when my oldest was 10 months old and had 2 more kids on the job. And a very common kind of occurrence in my home was, we'd have a viral moment somewhere around the world. I'd be breastfeeding, and they would be on the Bobby, and I'd be solving the server crisis for my team. So all this being to say is that when I started reading on the news about, hey, there's this problem with women in tech, most of you have heard about it, everybody talks about it, how there's not enough women in tech, I said, well, how can we put all of these things together into a possible solution? And so the idea of Power to Fly was born, which is the first social jobs platform for women, and that's what I'm working on right now for the past year. Basically, the idea is we're gonna, pick women from all around the world and connect them to the most innovative companies in New York City. Now, so what's the problem? For companies, it's difficult to find enough women. For women, it's too difficult to join the workforce. And as all of you have heard about it, female and gender ratios hurt innovation, hurt culture, hurt diversity, and all that stuff. A bunch of stats are out there about how much women are ready to work on their own terms. They feel kind of shitty about staying home and taking care of the kids and not rejoining the workforce. Most of them, 89%, want to resume work. And the quit rates once they start having babies are crazy. 47% in science, 39% engineering, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm proposing to companies that the possible solution embrace remote, right? So as long as you're ready to basically work with somebody around the world, you can bring more women to the workforce. And so, I feel like there's a whole new workforce that can be tapped, and more companies are embracing it, and there's so many studies about, how a bunch of % of the American workforce are going to embrace freelance and remote. So this is happening. The Power to Fly, we're really kind of focused on flexibility, on career development, on custom benefits, and really above all, the chance to work for the world's most innovative companies from wherever you are in the world. I think for me that was one of the biggest drivers for me to come to New York City, because I felt like in Europe was obviously a couple years behind. I was working on clones of the ideas that had arisen here and in the Bay Area, and I really wanted to be part of the action. And that's kind of the value, the biggest value that I feel like we're giving to women around the world. And we have a strong social mission. I mean, Lika here works from Crimea, which is a war-torn territory. Her mom has cancer, and she has chronic bronchitis, and a 5-year-old that she can't put in daycare. She would never be able to pull off a job unless she was able to, work remotely. She's working for SkillCrush, which is an amazing startup out of Bermuda. Most of you might have heard that name. Teaching women how to code. Heather is in the Carolinas. She followed a husband to a job, and all she was left with was selling Mary Kay cosmetics in rural Carolina. Now she's able to work for a decent startup. Nazat from Bangladesh. Amani, who, in Egypt, defended the Egyptian presidential website during the elections, being attacked, and now she works for New York City startup Rebel Mouse. My husband is the CEO there, full disclosure. And et cetera, et cetera. The stories come, every day, and I'm just so proud that IDP was the beginning of this story, the beginning of the inspiration, and that's it.